Would you like to see the view that we have here? Look at this. Wow. What a view. We're here on the laptop and we're starting the first little vlog. Let's see how consistent I can stay with this because it's pretty hard, but just kind of talking about the progress of the business must be the feeling. I'm just going to talk about a couple of things here. It's been quite the journey. It's been about 3 years. I mean, it is November now, and I want to say I started the journey about 3 years ago in October or so. Just to kind of speed things up here, I first started at American Junkies in Hermosa Beach. I went down there and I was planning on throwing events there because I was kind of leaving the old company that I was working for, Mayhem, because I was DJing for so long and I was throwing events and I wasn't making enough money. The most money I ever made in an entire year was $15,000, and that was including me doing an event with 1,500 people where it grossed $15,000, but I only kept $4,000 of that. And after a couple other events, the most I ever made was $15,000, which is nice if you're in college or you're young. But I had worked as hard as I could work, and I needed to make probably about 4 times as much to be able to leave my job. So I knew that I couldn't work 4 times as hard. I was working as hard as I could. And so something had to change. And so that's when I left and I went to American Junkies in Hermosa Beach. I thought it was a pretty cool place. There's a lot of walk-up crowd, and there was a venue called American Junkies where they had a LED wall, they had CO2 cannons, they had the lights, they had all the nice things that a venue could want. It was right along the beach. It was an hour away from where I lived, but other than that, I really liked it. And see, this is why I wish I vlogged more, because I don't even remember entirely how it came to be, but I wanted to throw events there. And then I noticed when I went online that there was no content, really. The content was very lackluster. And, you know, um, I just feel like I needed to make better content. I had a camera, which I had taken photos here and there for fun. And, I brought the camera into the nightclub. They started paying me $75 on Fridays. And I would go in there, take photos, edit them, and then send them to the venue, American Junkies. I noticed after the first day of taking photos that I would take photos of people. They would ask me for my Instagram. I would then send them the photos, and on a given night, I could get 20 Instagrams just from taking photos of people. And that's when the business started. I realized that as a DJ, I had to constantly try to find new fans and have them come out to my events. But with the camera, I was meeting 20 people in person almost without trying. Not only that, but I was also giving them a picture where they would post it online and they would tag me. And it just became this great circle of promotion. And I probably did, I want to say, Fridays there for a couple of weeks. And then I said, you know what, I want to start doing Saturdays as well. They'd offer me Saturdays as well. So I started doing Saturdays too. I was doing Fridays and Saturdays. And it was a very laid back environment. it was really nice, and we just enjoyed it. I made a whole separate Instagram. It's called Patrick Holmes Hermosa. And on that Instagram, I followed only people I met in Hermosa Beach. And I only posted Hermosa Beach content, American Junkies content. And it became a very strong Instagram very fast. Um, and from there, about 4 or 5 months later, we started throwing events on Thursday. The first event was the St. Patrick's Day event, and we made it pop. I mean, I think the bar normally would do somewhere around $1,500 on a Thursday night, and we got it to get to like 4,000 or 5,000. From there, we did, I believe, another Thursday event, and then eventually we started doing a weekly. We did the weeklies for about 3, 4, 5 months, and again, the average number at the bar was around $1,500, and we were hitting about 3, 4, 5, $6,000 on a given night. And so, give me a second. We just have a lead that came in. I'm going to tell Ernie to call that lead, please. I'm on the phone. And it's great. I have somebody named Ernie that's going to take this phone call for a lead that just came in. 3 years ago, I definitely did not have leads coming in, and I definitely did not have anybody that would take a call. So, very weird, kind of crazy to be talking about this in 3 years later. It's kind of nice to look back at it, and you know, we started throwing these events, and while we were doing the weekly events, for some reason, but the main general manager kind of wanted to add another promoter into the mix on Thursdays, which I wasn't completely opposed to personally because I was getting exhausted. I was only making $150 every Thursday. I think on Fridays I was making $150, and I think on Saturdays I was making $150. I was at the same venue for 3 nights out of the week, and also on Thursdays. I mean, the amount of promotions and things that we did, booking all the DJs, $150 just wasn't really a lot for the amount of work I was doing and the amount of money I was making the bar, and the DJs weren't really getting paid too well to assist me in this. And so it did become actually pretty exhausting. So when they wanted to add another promoter into the mix, I thought, hey, I'm going to still make my $150 on Thursday, and then they can pay the promoter however they want. The problem was that the promoter ended up not doing a good job. Things started declining, and I guess you could say I was on the hook at the end of the day. So Thursdays just kind of started to fall out of reach, and the numbers started to drop, and I think I just kind of let Thursdays go, and then we started going into Fridays that year around November, so about a year later. We started doing pretty well on Fridays in my opinion, but it was hard to decipher how much the bar was going up on a Friday night because of our promotion versus just a walk-up crowd. We did it for about 2 months, and same thing, I wasn't really getting paid extra to do it, and that's part of myself not negotiating properly and not understanding my own worth, but also because a lot of it was me trying to prove it to myself that I could do that. And we came to negotiation tables after those 2 or 3 months, and American Junkies and I did not see eye to eye on the value that I was bringing and that I was requesting more money. I will say I was requesting a good amount more money, but we were on different pages. And then that's when I said, you know what? I'll just continue taking photos on Fridays and Saturdays. Um, and Thursdays I'll kind of help out. Long story short, Thursdays was making less and less money. It didn't make sense for me to be on there at all. It got to the point at the end where I started actually DJing on Thursdays because there was just not enough juice to be squeezed. And Fridays and Saturdays I was taking off every so often because I was growing outside of that in Hollywood and LA. So I was getting booked for other gigs. And I didn't want to get trapped at just one venue at American Junkies because I didn't see a long future there anymore. So I would take off Fridays, I would take off Saturdays, and then just got to the point, maybe like a year later or so, where I just was almost never at American Junkies. And then, you know, again, I don't remember exactly when I just officially stopped working there, but I think I was just always getting booked in Hollywood. And it was closer, it was expanding my network, and a lot of times I was making more money and I was doing gigs that I enjoyed a little bit more. Because once you don't see a future at a place that you're working at, it's really hard to do good work. It's really hard to do good work. And I had so many plans for American Junkies and they just didn't see my vision. And, it is what it is. There's no hard feelings or anything like that. They absolutely gave me my first start and uh, they paid me to learn, to be honest. I learned a lot and they paid me to do so, and I'm honestly forever grateful for that. So there's not even a smidge of uh, regret or, that I dislike them in any type of way. It does make me sad a little bit that I wish we could have seen it out and seen what I could have actually really done there, but I think everything happens for a reason, and so it is what it is. Um, from there, I was shooting in Hollywood and LA. A lot of top 40 clubs, a lot of hip hop clubs. For some reason, that's just what was coming my way. And I was shooting a lot of those types of clubs. And, you know, a lot of the same kind of content. I was taking pictures of the party people. And, it would pay decent, you know, where, I was trying to average, about $1,000 a week. So I went from making about $450 a week to about $1,000 a week. I was getting to about $4,000 to $5,000 a month, maybe $3,000 to $5,000 a month would be more accurate, 3,000 to 5,000. And I was just booked. I was booked and busy, and you know, it was it was good. It was doing well. Um, if we go back around to the next year, you know, I was about 2024. So now if we're in 2025, I guess we'll take a quick pause for a second. And I'll say that um, I have a client hitting me up asking me if I'm available on the 14th. Yes, we are. A few. Sorry about that. In 2024, I was shooting a club. It was called Melrose House. I think this is a good part of the story. And I saw a photo booth. I saw a photo booth inside the club. And right then and there, I knew it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Um, Something about just being able to walk up and take a picture and be silly, it just really captivated me, and I really liked it. Not only that, but you had to text the picture to yourself, which means the club was getting your data. And I imagine, you know, 1, 200, 300, 400, 500 or more people show up to the club, And some of those people take photos, they text it to themselves, they get promotion, and then you get their phone number. It really fed into the photographer throwing events type of deal that I wanted to do. I wanted to get paid taking photos and making content, and then double up and do events and invite people that I met from photography and make more money with events. And this seemed like it would be great. I wanted to try to get this into clubs and venues. I bought a photo booth. I ended up buying two eventually. But I wanted to get these into venues, and maybe they would pay me weekly to have it in there. But at the very least, I can collect the data. And I really tried this for about a year. I would bring it in for free, and nobody cared, nobody cared. And I shouldn't say nobody cared. Everybody used the photo booth, right? Everybody loved the photo booth. It was very popular. But as far as venues, I didn't see the value, which drove me crazy because they would spend so much money on other things, and the photo booth just was always a grand slam. Everyone just loved using it, and people would get photos and they would promote it online and they would get their phone number, and it just seemed great. So after trying this for about a year, in February 2025, that's when I that was about the time when I hired a uh, business consultant named Sri. He actually sent me a message on Instagram and wanted to work with my business. And I thought that was pretty crazy. I didn't think it was real. Paxlino? I didn't think it was real. And, but anyways, we got on a phone call. He sounded great. And then we ended up working. One of the first things that we did when we started working was we broke down um, where I was making my money, how much time I was taking to earn that money, and just trying to see where the money was coming from and how I could make more money. I was doing fairly well, all things considered. I mean, I was doing about $5,000 a month, even in February, which the year prior I was sinking in February. Um, so, I was really doing really bad the February before, February 2024. January and February get very, very slow, especially in nightlife and things like that. It's never a fun season, I would say, to get through. Um, but we linked in, and then, fast forward, um, we just kind of realized like throwing events maybe not the best thing for us to do, and we got on Thumbtack. We started listing our photo booth services, and it started exploding. Um, to jump ahead, we're in November 2025. I mean, you know, we've now done $160,000 in sales um, in 2025. Obviously, that's not me collecting all the money. Um, that money's not all going to me. There's other people that I've hired that are taking some of that money. Um, I've bought two other photo booths now, so there's four photo booth setups. I have two Canon R6s with a bunch of lenses, lots of flashes, and little GoPros and action cameras and things like that, 360 cameras. So, um, you know, spent a lot of money this year on inventory and things like that. So I'm definitely not rolling around in the cash or anything like that. But, um, now we're doing about 5 to 7 photo booth gigs a week. We have a lot of automations in place. We're on Notion. We're using Zapier for our automations. And we are doing great. I mean, in November, we have about $12,000 in sales, and it's only the fourth. So there's about $12,000 in sales to be collected by the end of the month. Um, and obviously, there's going to be more gigs that come in. So this could definitely be a $15,000 month or more. And the most we've ever done in sales so far is 20,000 in about a month. So that's kind of like a little speed run of the last 3 years. But it's been great. It's been a long journey. It's been a journey of sacrificing a lot, sacrificing a lot of time with any friends, sacrificing TV, sacrificing video games, sacrificing eating out, um, so many things. But I think I don't know, I guess not everyone's the same, but for me, I never really cared to eat out. I never really cared to spend money on things. Going to the Dodger games or, you know, just spending my money on anything, clothes or anything like that. Um, I'm a pretty frugal person, so spending money only on the business never really bothered me too much. Um, I think the amount of time that I put into the business is as much as I can. Of course, you can always do more, but um, I've just been very focused on it, and it's all I think about every day. Sometimes I dream about it. I definitely wake up and think about it. I think about it before I go to sleep. It's definitely consumed me a lot, and I like that. I like it a lot, and I think if you want to be a business owner or entrepreneur, if you want to do what you love every day as a full-time income, you have to sacrifice a lot and you have to make it your number one priority. I just don't think that you can have a business without it being your number one priority. Um, it's your baby, essentially. It's your baby. And there goes Pugslina. Pugs, hey, come here. Come here. Oh, yes. Hi, Pugslina. Hey, stop. But it's an absolutely beautiful day out here in Carlsbad. That's a whole nother story that we'll get into. But look at that view. I mean, wow. What a view. To be up here on a laptop on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. And I could have came up here at any time I wanted to. So I don't know how I'm going to work on these vlogs every week, or hopefully every week. But I would like to kind of go over what I did for the week and maybe the numbers and the sales and kind of some of the things we're working on, just as a diary, you know, and maybe it'll inspire one or two people to do what they love. I think that would be great. So I guess that's also the reason why I do it, for myself in a vlog, and also to encourage you to do what you love. Anyways, much love out there. Peace.